Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me for this guided practice of side plank and hip openers. For deeper step-by-step instructions, I hope you check out the pose focus videos. In this video, it's going to be a little less detailed, a little faster paced. So stay safe and enjoy. In downward facing dog pose. So setting this up mindfully in a way that really works for your body. And just finding length in the spine. So we want space in the joints, okay, and the muscles to engage in a way that is supportive. You can walk out the legs, but just keep trying to separate, okay, create space between the crown of the head and the tailbone and supporting the space. So we're active through the space, trying to always enhance it. I love to lift and lower heels. Okay, you can bend and maybe straighten the legs as long as that doesn't compromise, okay, the space in the spine, the space and power of the shoulders. So we're going to inhale and shift forward nice and slow to a plank pose and then back to downward facing dog. So here what you want to do is really stay mindful, okay, of how you feel in the shoulder joints. And as you shift forward, okay, trying to maintain that space and access the power in the sides, okay, the sides of the torso, trying to create a sense of lightness, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. I'm just going back and forth, remembering the power that we have in the legs, the glutes, okay. Pausing here in your plank pose and just considering, okay, side plank. So you might go from here or lower a knee, okay? So I'm going to be going into a side stretch on my right hand, side plank on my right hand, and just swiveling on the feet and reaching up, keeping a sense of lightness. One breath here, maybe reaching up, reaching alongside by the ear, reaching up again and returning to plank. Nice and slow and deliberate, back to downward facing dog. Good. So reaffirm the space, reaffirm the strength. And then we're going to shift forward again, taking side plank on the other side. Okay, so reaching up. Good. Again, maybe reaching overhead. So you could always have one knee down. Okay, so finding those right variations, okay, for your body today. I'm going to release to plank. Heading back into downward facing dog. Good, a breath here. So we'll explore some variations in our side plank and always remembering that the bottom knee can be down. So I want to set up this next one with that option. Okay, so shifting forward to plank. When you do this with the bottom knee down, you need your foot to travel, okay, so that it's behind the line of the knee, and then adjust. So reaching here, making sure again that there is all this lightness. So you could stay with it here or lift, okay, the other leg, maybe take hold of it back behind you. So exploring a little bit of the back bend without feeling hindered here at the groin hip joint. Okay, so you can always let the knee be more forward, okay, and more of a neutral or enhancing the back bend. Looking forward, up, down, whatever works. And then safely, okay, releasing. I'm going to head back in to downward facing dog. You can come into child's pose or any resting or reaffirming pose anytime. So lengthen. So we're going to do that again on the other side. Before I enter into any sort of arm balance, side plank, anything where I'm going to be putting potentially weight on the arms, okay, I want to reaffirm all that lightness, that power, okay, within the muscles and the sides, the abs, the back. So here, as I'm going to lower my left knee, first I'm going to turn the foot. Okay, so when I land the knee, I'm not going to put any weight on that knee as I turn, reaching, lengthening. Okay, the bottom hand can be slightly forward of the wrist. Just want lightness. Potentially lifting the leg, okay, taking hold, okay, without any struggle. So the knee could be more forward if that's what's better on the spine, neutral or kicking it back, and really just finding, I love back bends, so finding that right option for you. And then going back into safely transitioning, okay, plank, down dog, your pose of choice. Okay, and just scan your body and notice how you feel. Okay, another breath right here. I'm going to lower the knees for just a moment and just do a little bit of counter stretching, okay, for the wrists, for the back of the hands, placing the back of the hands on the mat here with the thumbs facing one another, just for a moment, just kind of checking in, taking stock, neck and shoulders sensation, length and space. Good, breathing. Good. And then coming back into downward facing dog. So very mindfully, deliberately breathe through the nose as much as you can. Keep sending the seat back. So we want space, space in the hips, space in the shoulders, power along the sides. So we want to feel that space needs to feel secure. Okay, the space in the joints needs to feel secure without feeling locked. So it's a very dynamic energy within the body, even if the body on the outside looks still. There's a lot going on within. Good. So exploring side plank one more time. Okay. This time maybe, okay, with both legs in the original position. Okay, but at any time you can lower the bottom knee. I'm just gonna lift that top leg. So you can do so many things. It could just be reaching, maybe tree pose. There's some variation here. Maybe, okay. Just like to have fun, to play with this pose and feeling the strength, the lightness, the power. And carefully releasing the position, heading back into whatever you consider your recovery. So I love down dog for this. Key muscles here in supporting this space are engaging the triceps, okay, the side muscles alongside the torso. All they work in partnership, okay, triceps, the side muscles, abs. Keep breathing as you feel ready, shifting forward, okay, to your powerful plank. Just swiveling on the feet, extending. Okay, so as I reach this top arm, it's though I'm pulling down a rope, okay, and letting it then pull me. So I'm getting out of that bottom shoulder, okay, and then beginning to play. Just seeing how things feel, keeping a sense of ease all around the neck. Breathing. So much fun, even amidst the effort, okay? Or especially amidst the effort. And then heading back into, okay, again, your recovery, your check-in, your lengthening. And then lowering the knees. Once again, checking in with the wrists. You could do one hand at a time or both. Smooth, deep breaths. Checking in with your shoulders, with your neck. So we build strength. We want to build it intelligently, safely, always taking the best options for our body on any given day. And at the same time, having some fun with the exploration, right? Not ever limiting ourselves. So just kind of testing the waters, seeing at what phase, what can surprise us today about ourselves, okay? All right. So now carefully placing the hands down, just preparing a little bit more for hip openers. I'm just going to check in, lifting a leg here and circling in the hip joint, changing the direction. So I'm going to be heading into half pigeon. Just feels like a nice pose to do. Okay, to allow for the space and length of the spine. It's definitely a sense of ease in the shoulders. So switching legs. So we'll be going into downward facing dog, exploring, okay, hip opener there before we enter half pigeon. Okay, so in both directions. Okay, so as you're ready, and you don't have to enter half pigeon from down dog, you could do all of these things on your hands and knees. Okay, so just seeking length, space in the wrists, elbows, shoulders. In order to get that, we have to lift and send the seat back and up, lightening the load first, and then engaging thigh muscles, glutes, the triceps, the sides, okay, abs and back, but in an effective way where we always are reaffirming lightness. Good. Bring the feet a little bit closer together. So I'm just going to start by taking my right leg back and up. I'm going to lift that right hip. My shoulders will be uneven at first. I'm just going to bend this knee, but then I'm going to level out the shoulders and yet trying to keep this openness in the hips, okay? So being active here as the right foot is up, I'm pressing it into an imaginary resistance, letting that resistance meet my foot and really open up, okay? Opening up the hips. The left knee could be bent or straight. I know the arms might be fatiguing. Okay, you can enter half pigeon at any time you're ready. Okay, so I'm just going to take another breath right here. And on the exhale, sweeping that shin somewhat forward. So for me, I'll take it really far forward because that's my hip mobility. You find your right expression, okay, of the position where your hips are nice and level. Good. So finding your right position. So the right leg is in external rotation. The left leg is in internal rotation. And yet I'm still drawing energy up. Okay, trying to find those seamless channels in the joints. Okay, appropriate engagement of the muscles to enhance the length of the spine and so yummy, juicy. Okay, maybe shifting side to side. So finding your right half pigeon, your right hip opener. Each one of these poses is broken down step by step in the pose focus videos, so those are great to watch to feel more familiar and prepared when putting it all together. I hope that this, whatever hip opener you're choosing here, feels so good and welcome after all of the strengthening we've been doing in our side plank series, down dog series. Keep seeking inner space, inner length. Your arms could be active or you could rest. Okay, your forehead on a block or on your hands. I love to explore side stretches here. So just keep breathing and exploring variations that feel right for your body in this moment. Always checking in with the breath. So my lower half feels really anchored. And so I can explore with a sense of ease the space within the upper half. I'm going to shift, side stretch to the other side. Another couple of breaths. Coming up just for a moment, just because I love the back bends, okay? So if you're exploring back bends, really make sure that your back leg is a nice open channel at the hip joint. It doesn't feel clogged in any way, so that you can really, okay, find this optimal space and that you can just grow longer and longer and longer and longer. And the breath just continues to expand. Know your exit before you choose to come out of this. So you're going to go maybe to hands and knees, child's pose. I'm going to head into, I love to come into single leg down dog after a pose like this. So I'm going to anchor, okay, and carefully exit, heading right back into where I started here in this three-legged dog, Okay, finding length and just feeling that sense of ease. Okay, so a successful hip opener. Let's head on to all fours just for a moment. Do those leg circles again. So setting this up, lifting the right knee, circling in the hip, and just kind of feeling, wow, it's so open. Okay, and then just compare the sensation to the left. Need some opening. Okay, so we're going to definitely reward it. Okay, so entering your hip opener in the best way for you. Okay, again, I'm going to head into downward facing dog. Okay, so always reaffirming that sense of lightness in the joints by engaging appropriately the muscles so that the neck can lengthen and feel free. The spine feels so nice and spacious. Feet come a little closer together in this variation, just so when you lift that left leg, you feel really steady. Okay, so as I open that left hip joint, I want to make sure that the right one is receptive to it. So I still want to keep that right thigh bone deep in the hip joint. I'm going to bend that right knee just for a little bit, flexing that left foot, and yet trying to level out in the shoulders. Breathe. Okay, this imagined counter resistance at the left foot. Breathing into this. Good. And then shifting, okay, in your way to your depth. So a more flexible body just needs to take a deeper variation to get the exact same feedback, okay, that a tighter body might feel earlier, without that added depth, okay? So that's all that the difference is around the room. Everybody's seeking the same sensory awareness, the same feedback, okay? But getting that feedback just looks a little different body to body, okay? In some parts, okay, we're far more flexible. We need to take a pose deeper to feel the same thing that in other poses we feel sooner. Okay, just depends. Just depends. So keep exploring your pose. You might find more positive, okay, awareness by being still. Okay, I love to shift side to side and just feel all the juiciness. So I'm just gonna reach to one side and breathe. The left leg's in that external rotation, the right leg's in an internal rotation. Still bringing energy up in toward the midline. Lengthen spine. From one side to the other. Okay, finding, if not absolute pleasure and peace, okay, at least having peace in knowing why you're in it, what you're accomplishing in it, in the sense of what space are you creating, what strength are you aware of, okay? So you always want to feel like you understand intrinsically why you're doing what you're doing, because that alone will give a sense of peace to the mind, okay? When we understand the purpose of what we're doing, we'll have more stamina, endurance, okay, a reason to be in it. 2 or 3 more breaths. I'm going to explore my final things here. Okay, in the back bend, maybe a little twist. So just seeking length. I love to give this counter resistance, okay, at the base of the skull to just grow longer and longer and longer, and feel the support in the length, in the space. Finishing with the twist. And here's where I begin to consider, how do I want to exit? Where am I going with this? Okay. See, you feel directed movement from messages within the body. Okay, so what's your body telling you? And how can you respond in a very safe, mindful way? So side plank, strong, strong practice. Okay, hip openers, taking advantage of all the space we created. And then picking from a menu, okay, of how you want to close your practice. Okay, whether it's of your own creation or maybe from the selection of restorative poses, okay, offered in on this channel. Whatever you do, I hope that all of this is helpful, that you feel good, and have a wonderful day. Namaste.